A day for spaghetti and intrigue, monotony. Population Harmony Springs, not much happened here, ever, unless you counted Mrs. Periwinkle's prize-winning petunia Gertrude getting third place at the county fair. Scandalous? Harmony Springs boasted one traffic light, a library with more birdhouses than books, and Luigi's. Luigi's, with its checkered tablecloths and the aroma of garlic and basil, was an institution, until it wasn't. Detective Donnie Dingle loved a good puzzle. Sudoku solved it. He could fill in those little squares faster than most people could read the instructions. Each number falling perfectly into place was like music to his ears. Jigsaw with missing pieces. Child's play. He could see the final picture in his mind before even starting. The challenge was never about finding the pieces, but about the satisfaction of seeing the complete image come together. His apartment was a testament to his analytical prowess. Shelves lined with books on logic, strategy games, and puzzles of every kind. Each item had its place, a reflection of his methodical mind. Each day he meticulously arranged his cereal boxes in alphabetical order. It was a ritual, a way to start the day with a sense of order and control. The sight of perfectly aligned boxes brought him a strange comfort. Donnie, however, craved a real mystery, something that would challenge his intellect and push his skills to the limit. The mundane puzzles of everyday life were no longer enough to satisfy his sharp mind. Sadly, Harmony Springs offered little more than the occasional misplaced library book, usually found behind the self-help section. The town was quiet, almost too quiet for someone with Donnie's talents. Then the phone rang. It was a sound that broke the monotony of his day, a potential sign of something more intriguing.
Donnie, it's Frank. We've got a situation down at Luigi's. The urgency in Frank's voice was unmistakable, and it piqued Donnie's interest immediately. You might want to check it out. Donnie's heart raced. Finally, a real mystery to solve. He grabbed his coat and headed out the door, ready for whatever awaited him at Luigi's.
Luigi, owner of Luigi's and a man who treated his pasta dough like family, was in distress.
My recipe, gone! He cried into the phone, his Italian accent thicker than usual. The secret's out, or rather in.
His family's secret spaghetti sauce recipe, passed down through generations, had vanished. Stolen! Donnie felt a thrill course through him. This wasn't alphabetizing cereal, this was serious. Section 4, Donnie, on the case clues and cul-de-sacs. The investigation began. The night was thick with mystery and the air was heavy with the scent of unsolved crimes. Donnie, the quirky detective with a penchant for the dramatic, was on the prowl. Donnie, armed with his magnifying glass, mostly for show, and a notepad, for very important doodles, arrived at Luigi's. This wasn't just any restaurant. It was the epicenter of the latest culinary conundrum. The place where pasta and mystery intertwined. The scene, a lone meatball rolling across the floor, a faint whiff of oregano in the air, and zero witnesses. The restaurant was eerily quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you question if you're really alone. The meatballs seemed to be the only one willing to talk, but it had rolled away, leaving Donnie with more questions than answers.
He dusted the Parmesan cheese shaker for fingerprints. None. It was as if the culprit had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace behind. The Parmesan, usually a silent witness to many a meal, had nothing to offer this time. He interrogated the gnocchi. They pleaded the fifth. The gnocchi, soft and unassuming, sat there in silence, offering no clues. It was a tough crowd, and Donnie was getting nowhere. He even analyzed the spaghetti strands, convinced they held the key to the culprit. Dead end. The strands, long and tangled, seemed to mock him with their complexity. Each noodle was a potential lead, but none of them led anywhere. The case was growing colder by the minute, and Donnie knew he had to think outside the pasta box to crack this one.
Section 5, the perp, the pasta, and the punchline. Just as Donnie was about to declare the case a culinary conundrum, he spotted it. It was a clue so small, so seemingly insignificant, that it almost slipped past his keen detective eyes. A tiny, pink, sparkly barrette. It was stuck to the bottom of Luigi's recipe book, which, oddly enough, was right where he'd left it. This barrette, with its glittering surface, seemed out of place in the otherwise serious and savory world of Luigi's kitchen.
The culprit? Little Millie, Luigi's 5-year-old niece, who had a penchant for borrowing things to play restaurant with her dolls. Millie loved to mimic her uncle's culinary skills, often setting up elaborate pretend meals for her dolls, complete with tiny plates and plastic food. The recipe? Safely tucked inside Millie's dollhouse, next to a plastic pizza and a menu written in crayon. Millie had taken the recipe book to add authenticity to her playtime, not realizing the chaos she had caused in Luigi's kitchen. The mystery was solved and the missing recipe was found, all thanks to a little girl's imagination and a detective's sharp eye.
Section 6, Spaghetti Reconciliation and Side-Splitting Relief. Luigi, initially furious, burst into laughter upon seeing Millie's culinary hideout.
Donnie, though slightly embarrassed by the anticlimactic resolution, had to admit it was funny.
That night, everyone gathered at Luigi's.
Millie, the youngest chef in Harmony Springs, received a standing ovation.
Donnie, amidst the laughter and the aroma of the now recovered secret sauce, realized that maybe, just maybe, Harmony Springs wasn't so boring after all.